This is the self-titled podcast of the Golf in Japan website, where you can check essential information in English about golfing in Japan, including more than 2,000 courses. We can help you book your round and make the whole process a whole lot easier. So check out golf-in-japan.com and start planning your Japan golf trip today. Golf in Japan, May 3rd. Happy Golden Week, gents. We're here with the full crew. Welcome, Joe and Damon.
Morning.
Morning. Nice to be back, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to start with weather.
We should start with that it's 8 a.m.
It is.
We decided to do the podcast early because it's a public holiday. It's called Golden Week. It's a weird holiday, actually, isn't it? You only get like a day off, 2 days off in 1 week and 2 days off in the next week, and then everyone takes a couple of days off in between, and it makes 2 weeks somehow.
Yeah, it is a bit strange.
But here we are.
Yep.
Okay. Good to have you back, Joe. Sashi, buddy. How was ISPS Handa? Good, was it?
It was good. Yeah, great event. I think we're going to talk about it a little bit more when I talk about pro tournaments. But yeah, really good week. It was a couple of ordinary days in terms of weather. The Wednesday, I was up there on the Wednesday and it was pretty crappy weather. And then the Saturday was also ordinary. But the last day was terrific.
Friday was nice.
Yep, Friday was good and Sunday was good. It was a great finish and good for Japanese golf. So nice to have a winner on the DP World Tour.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get into that, let's give the weather forecast and say, okay, blue skies. I think it's going to be 26 degrees today.
I think so. Yeah.
Fantastic. Another beautiful day. Now we did have it was crazy on Tuesday. It did piss rain.
Yeah.
Lash rain. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which was, and it did go down to like 10. So it's up and down a little bit at the moment. But beautiful day today. So what prefecture are we going to talk about this week, Damon?
This week we're talking about Fukui Prefecture. And that's on the Sea of Japan side, central part of Japan.
Okay.
Just above Nagoya?
Well west of Nagoya.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just had a look on the map.
And again on the Sea of Japan side.
Yeah.
So totally opposite coast.
Yeah.
But but thanks for the question. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think my geography
let's just go.
Sucks.
Nagoya, what was the other one? Shiga, keep going up.
Yeah.
Past Osaka, Kyoto, all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, you're right. It's not. It's northwest of.
Okay, fun facts. Famous for its dinosaur fossils.
Yep.
So apparently there's been a lot of fossils found in the Fukui Prefecture, and you can go to see a lot of different museums there with a lot of the old dinosaur bones and whatnot.
I find that stuff fascinating now. As a kid, when I was younger, I had no time for dinosaurs.
Yeah, me too.
But these days, I think that sort of stuff's really intriguing. I really do.
Well, it's a sign you're getting old, no?
Yeah, maybe it is. But I also think for my little fella as well that he might like going up to see something like that because I think that's pretty cool.
I'm actually looking at the article that we have online, and there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the museum. So we're not talking about little crappy dinosaurs like you get in Ireland. I remember there was some dinosaur exhibition in Ireland, and there was like this huge deer. And that was it. And it was like, that's all we had. We were all like, where's the dinosaurs? They're like, no, that's it.
Have we got dinosaurs? I mean, I should know that. I mean, we've got every other sort of animal. But
in Australia?
Well,
got my mum and dad, I suppose.
But aren't certain dinosaurs Australian words? Like Velociraptor?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Rex. No, we call him
Brontosaurus.
We just call him Bruce. Come
Bruce, on. That's right, Bruce.
Anyway, so they have beautiful dinosaurs up there. And I think it looks amazing. And they have beautiful coastline. Wow.
Yep. Sure is. The other fun fact, Echizen. Echizen washi, which is Japanese paper.
Yep.
So long history, centuries of history there of making the old Echizen washi. They also have a very famous temple there, like just about every other prefecture in Japan. But this one is especially old, 1244.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a Zen temple.
That's pretty impressive.
Yep. And the last thing, it used to be an old samurai town, Fukui. During the Sengoku period, which is in the mid 1400s to the 1600s.
Wow.
So,
okay. Looks amazing. I'm just seeing the outdoor onsen, right on the coast, natural onsen coming out of the ground, and that looks good.
Are you supposed to get your whole kit off when you get into that?
I think
type
if it's
of
like
onsen, or
that,
do you-
I don't think you are.
No.
If it's a public, like it's just actually
males and
naturally
females
occurring.
together. Yeah.
But if you go to an onsen where they're filtering the water and it's male and female, whatever, you're
then of
supposed
course you do.
to get the kid off.
Yeah.
Got to do it. Cover your tattoos though.
Yeah, that's right. Cover your tackle as well.
You don't have to.
Well, you're supposed to, aren't you? Put the towel in front of it and,
Yeah.
you know.
Golf?
Yeah, so not many courses there. There's only about 11 courses in Fukui. The top 5 courses searched on golf in Japan. Number 1 being the Echizen CC. Number 2, the Tsuruga Kokusai GC. Number 3, the Forest Fukui GC. And number 4, which probably one we'll talk little bit more about, is the Owara GC. It's actually quite an old course, built in 1961.
Okay.
Yeah, and then number 5, the Japan Central GC. But yeah, so they're the top 5. Other quite well-known courses down there would be the Fukui CC and the Wakasa CC.
Okay.
CC obviously standing for Country Club.
Have you guys booked any of those golf courses for guests?
We don't really get a lot, to be honest. Just purely by location, I suppose. But going back to number 4, Owara GC, I mean, it's just a lovely course. It's right on the coast there, on the Sea of Japan. It's got a little bit of that Takuana vibe going to it. So spectacular course, views are amazing, and it's not that expensive again.
Nice.
And you can get on.
And you can get on.
The Awara golf course. Who's the designer of that one?
A Japanese designer, I think.
Oh yeah, Maruge. Okay, looks beautiful. It's like it's like a links kind of style. It's very close to the water, isn't it?
That's nice. That's a little bit unusual here, isn't it?
Got Lake Kitagata on one side, and then you got the ocean on the other. Lovely.
I mean, it's not really that unusual. There are a lot of courses seaside.
Is there? I mean, I just mustn't have played them.
The only one I've played is Tom Watson down in Miyazaki. But I remember talking to an old boy over in the Japan Golf Fair one time, and he was telling me up in Fukushima, they have a really, really good links course up there. I've never actually discovered it, but eventually we'll get there. We're working our way up we're in the middle of the country now, so probably near the summer we'll be up there to talk about it.
I've got to go and play some of these golf courses because I've played Kawana, which is terrific, but
yeah,
I seem to get sort of stuck in Chiba all the time, or over near Gotemba, which is nowhere near the border. So
that's the way it is. But to get to like Fukui, you're probably flying over 2,000 golf courses to get there.
Too.
You know, it's incredible. So you're always spoiled for choice. That's the problem with Japan.
Yeah,
too many golf courses.
True. Yeah,
this is true. I'm actually just looking up another course. It's called the Ocean Palace in Tokushima. And I mean, obviously, you guys can't, the listeners can't see this, but
that's not Kawana.
no,
That's all one course.
yeah, this is just absolutely
There's a
beautiful.
bridge between the two pieces of land.
So
My
there's
goodness.
all these little islands, and they're all connected with bridges.
Yeah, this is in Tokushima. We haven't actually got there yet, but we'll be talking about that later. But this is a kind of, I mean, the courses you can still, but there's a lot of courses on the water around Japan. Remembering Japan is 80% mountainous, so the population is around the coast.
That's right.
Yep.
Even though obviously the golf courses will always go a little bit inland. But yeah.
Amazing. Imagine getting permission to do that. Must have been a nightmare. Whoever designed and built that golf course is very connected. It's like, I'm just going to take these 5 little islands in the picturesque, little bay here and build a golf course. That's truly stunning.
Yeah.
Might put a link to that in the description so people can check it out.
It's a little bit of a shame though, because it's surrounded by trees. Damon's just brought it up on his computer, and I'm just having a look at it. But it's obviously got great. They need to blow up some of those trees. I think Japanese people are reluctant to cut down trees. I mean, if you have a look at that picture there, be great views of the coast or in the water. But look at all those trees. I mean, they should just bulldoze them all.
It's probably protecting it from the.
I was going to say
the
there
wind.
might be a reason they've kept them there, but
anything on the coast is getting whipped by wind.
Yeah.
So you plant trees to kind of give it a little bit of block, so your bunkers have a bit of sand in them.
yeah, true.
But yeah. So just for the listeners, that was Ocean Palace
Okay.
Golf Club down in Tokushima.
Nice.
And to get there, to get to,
And I've lied the
Fukui?
whole time. It's actually Nagasaki Prefecture.
Where that one you were just talking about?
Yeah. Nagasaki can. Maybe
Okay.
it's in Tokushima.
Well, Awara is definitely Fukui. It's an amazing flat piece of coastline there. That's cool. So I guess to get there, you would take a Shinkansen.
Yeah.
2.5 hours or 3 hours by Shinkansen.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess you could fly to... Every prefecture in Japan does have an airport, so I'm presuming Fukui has an airport as well.
I'd always do the Shinkansen. It's easy, as we've spoken about before. You can throw the clubs up the back and sit down for a few hours, and you don't have to do the whole thing with airlines of checking in and all that, which I much prefer. Just jump on the Shink and away you go.
Or don't bring your clubs at all.
That's right.
That's right. We've got some beautiful Titleist rentals for
exactly.
you.
All the brand new stuff.
Yep. All at a great
deal
gear.
that is. You just arrive at the golf club and you play with them, and then just leave them with the staff afterwards, and they get couriered back to Damon and Kieran.
Done.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on. So thanks very much for the prefecture of the week, and I think we'll go into tour news. But do you want to talk about your neck before we do that?
So I played with Damon and Red Bull Chris the other day at our Minori course, and we were coming back, and Damon has a Tesla Model
S,
which is it's an amazing looking car if you've ever seen one.
It's like
if you haven't seen one,
Kit
check
from
it out.
Knight Rider.
It's like Kit. I mean, it's just it's a rocket ship. Anyway, we're coming back, and Damon sort of put his foot down as we're going towards a toll, and I thought, I've never felt anything like that before. And then we got through the toll, and he took off again, and I have literally shit myself. And I closed my eyes, and what was coming out of my mouth was stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. And I got sucked into the back of the seat, and I've hurt my neck as well. So apart from soiling my strides, I've got a crook neck at the moment as well.
Yeah.
It was actually quite scary. It really was. I've never felt anything like that. I'm not a guy that likes, when you go to theme parks, going on rides and things like that. That's never been my thing.
No,
maybe for that reason.
Too.
And Damon took off in this thing, and my goodness.
I'm okay if I'm driving it myself, but if someone else driving it, I'm just like, my God.
Yeah, I was just...
Yeah,
unexpected.
Fair play to Joe. He took it well. But I suppose if you're not ready for it, it will throw you back.
It does.
Yeah, head back a little
just
bit.
Just that instant speed.
But
I think I was telling you.
I succumbed to peer group pressure with Chris in the back egging me on.
I thought it was hilarious.
But it's funny when we...
But your testosterone is up 5%.
Yeah.
You can thank him for that.
And my blood pressure,
yeah. But when we dropped him off, there was marks on the seat.
She staggered off.
Tried to drop into Uniqlo and buy some new strides.
I can picture you just walking through the door and just dropping the club, saying to the wife, "Hold me." All right. Well, that's good. But anyway, and let's talk a little bit about ISPS Handa. So the rumor has it that in the clubhouse it turned into a kind of a strip club.
It did. Tayo Club had nothing to do with it. Of course, we rented the course and the clubhouse to the European tour, or the DP World Tour, for the week, and everything that went on inside it was controlled by them. And there was a couple of things posted on, I think, Instagram of some pole dancers. There was a pole dancing exhibition that went on in the clubhouse with I think there were some players, and guests and wives and things like that. And the news got out, and there's been some of the Tahoe members who were not particularly happy about what went on, and said to us, "Why did you allow it?" And our answer was, we had no idea what was going on. We just gave them the venue, and they've decided to hold this event there.
But it was just dancing. There was no...
Yeah, there's no nudity or anything like that. But
I
think it's a time and place. I mean, it doesn't bother me, that sort of thing, but I don't think it's maybe the right place to be hosting a...
It is a little bit unusual.
It is a bit unusual.
Let me tell you. So I rolled up on Friday, and my navvy took me the back way. So I came up in this country road, and then next thing I was on
beside the practice fairway.
I was right next to the practice green or the practice range, and right next to the practice range there was a full Hawaiian band with Hawaiian dancers in coconuts and the whole thing, and there was, I'd say, about 7 people watching the golfers hit balls, and there was about 800 people watching the Hawaiian dancers.
I didn't see
so I'm
that.
like, okay, that's it. And they're loud. And it's like slide guitar, full stage, everything. It was like a live event. And we'll get to that. And then I parked the car and I come up and I'm walking up the street. And then they had this like animatronic, I think it's called, a snake and a dinosaur just off the putting green.
Yeah.
And it was moving and I was like, Jesus, what's it?
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting golf tournament.
Yeah, it was.
But a good vibe.
Sounds like an amusement park or something.
Well, it does.
It was,
He sponsored, I remember a few years ago, Dr. Handa sponsored the New Zealand Open, and there was... I can't remember what animals. I mean, you can Google it, but he had animals all over the golf course. It might have been dinosaurs. So this is something he's doing, and I think it's to attract kids to the event, and then hopefully while they look at the dinosaurs, then they'll go and watch the golf and be inspired.
They did
by
have
So what was with the pole dancing then?
That's an anomaly. That's a.
How does that all
aberration.
match?
I don't get that.
I think he was just trying to do something really fun and up the tempo of it, and they just had dancers. They just happened to be on poles.
Yeah,
but the cool thing for kids was they had a ice cream tabehode, which means ice cream all you can eat. So the shop set up, and they had like ice cream bars and different types of ice creams, I suppose.
Okay,
and you could just go in and take as many as you want.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Look, it's good. He's got the right idea, but I'm not so sure about the pole dancing. And I don't know if it was Dr. Handa or that was the European Tour. I can't say, but a little bit of a strange event.
What? I actually walked the course. It was in great shape, considering all the rain you had on the Wednesday or the Tuesday. I mean, and the place is like Mount Fuji's like right there. When you're in the clubhouse, when I was talking to Daryl last week, you've got Mount Fuji like just completely taken up the whole bay window. Yeah. And then you've got the 18th hole or 18th green there. Fantastic, where they had stands and everything set up. It looked amazing.
Yeah. I mean, initially it was designed to host tournaments.
Yeah.
So, the backdrop of Fuji and the golf course. And when Rhys Jones came in 2018 and did a redesign or reconstruction of the golf course, he cleared out nearly 1,000 trees. So they got better views of Mount Fuji. So it's pretty spectacular. If it's visible, which both of you know that Mount Fuji is not always visible.
Yeah, it was on Friday.
Yeah, and on Sunday.
Yeah,
it looked great.
It did look good on TV. I watched the highlights. It looked really good.
Yeah, so it was a good event. It's good PR for us as well. And it's going to continue there.
And as Daryl said, it's great for for the European Tour connecting to Japan and all the Japanese players actually viewing it as I don't know if they'll think it's easier to play on the European Tour than the PGA Tour, but they're showing that it is. I mean, the last two winners are Japanese now.
Exactly, and I think I did a bit of a count. I think in the top 20 players, there was sort of 7 or 8 Japanese players. And I sort of thought at the beginning of the week a European will win it. I don't know why I thought that, but obviously...
Is that because it's being hosted in Japan, though?
Could be.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these players, the Japanese players, have played on Gotemba before, so they've got a little bit of an advantage. But
it's like the DP Tour. I know you're going to talk about it in a minute in China this week.
Yeah,
and even they've finished their first day, and you've got a couple of the Chinese players there that we've never heard of.
Yeah,
and it's because they're hosting the event.
Yeah, it's the home track.
Yeah, so they do have a home track advantage. So anyway, so the winner was 25-year-old Katsurugawa. Finished at 17 under. Did you see the last round? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did see the highlights.
The last 9
65,
holes.
right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, what was a little bit scary is some of the places he was playing from. I've played that golf course a million times, and from the back tees, it's long. And he's hitting wedges into places. And Kieran said he's only a little fella.
He's tiny.
Yeah. And he was hitting wedges into places. I'm hitting 4 irons and things like that, and just tore it up, made a nice par down the last. Really gutsy, actually. I mean, I don't think he was he wasn't in the last group. But the last hole is a par 5, hit a driver off the tee and hit an iron over the back of the green. I thought he would lay up, but he went for it and chipped it up and 2-putted and won by 3. In the end, 14 under to Soderberg, the Swedish kid, and then there was Christian Bezuidenhout, the South African. Ryosuke Kinoshita was another good Japanese player who finished up there. And Karomura, who's an interesting guy. He's a Japanese player that's been in Europe for quite a few years now. He's sort of blazing a trail over there. Him and, now Keita Nakajima he's got a spot on the DP World Tour as well. So really good to see a lot of the Japanese players play well in the tournament. I sat in the clubhouse on the Wednesday and sort of, I wasn't starstruck, but there was a few really, really good players. Nicholas Kolsarts, who was an ex-Ryder Cupper. Joyce Louten, who's a great Dutch player. And Manacero was there as well. And then after that, there was a real dearth of famous players. It was just a lot of young European tour players who I have never heard of before. And I follow the game. Maybe it wasn't the strongest field. The strongest Europeans have come over, but they were good players.
Yeah.
And they tore the course up. I mean, it's a par 70 as well. So there's the 6th hole and the 11th hole are both par 5s for members, and they turn them into par 4s for the tournament. They play slightly forward, but they're 2 pretty considerable par 5s. I mean, it's par 5s. They're hard to get on there in 2, but these guys are hitting, mid-irons into them. So for him to shoot, what did he finish at 17 under on a par 70 golf course is really, really good golf.
Yeah, and I said he was tiny. I mean, he was tiny.
Yeah.
So he was. So actually, on the Friday, I was with Corey, and Corey turned around to him and said, "Did you just shoot 3 under?" As we were walking by, and he went, "Yeah." And he was like all giddy, and he was holding a couple of clubs. He was going to the practice range with his caddy, and I was just thinking, "Who's this kid?"
Yeah.
Because literally, he looked like he was about 14.
Yeah, he does. He looks young. He's only
Very
been on
young.
tour for 3 years. He won 2022. He won another ISPS event
Fantastic.
in Ibaraki. But he's won a lot of money. Last year, he won a whole bunch of cash. Actually, last year, I don't think he had full status on the tour. But 2022, every time he had a start, this kid's won money. So he's already won 1.6 million US, I think, on the
Wow.
about 1.2 million US on the Japan tour. So he's a good player.
Better recalculate. It's 158 yen, isn't it? For $1 now.
God,
So, Jesus.
yeah.
It dropped a lot yesterday.
Did it?
153.
153. Okay, good.
Anyway, look, it was a great event. It's going to continue next year, and really good for Japanese golf that he's won. He's beaten Europeans.
Yep.
What do you want to talk about? Did you
Yes.
talk about?
Shane Lowry.
Yeah,
and
Shane
Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy won the Zurich Classic at TPC Louisiana. To be honest, I really didn't follow this all that
I
much.
followed it. Well, especially because they were winning, and I
Yeah.
support the Irish guys. But I think it's a pretty weak field.
Oh, so I've got the names here, so I'm going to read out these names. After Rory and Shane Lowry, Ramey and Trainer, Brem Hubbard, Higo Fox, Stevens, and Barjon. Do you
I
know
felt sorry
any of
for
those
them.
names?
But I felt sorry for them because the commentators were saying like these guys are fighting for their tour
Their tour
cards.
cards, they are.
So if they had won, they would like. Whereas like Rory and Shane are like, you know, they don't really need it.
Yeah, and they won.
So why weren't all the other big names there?
Well, they certainly weren't at the TP World Tour at Gotemba. I don't know. Maybe they just have a week off.
Golden Week.
I just find that sort of golf not particularly compelling.
I loved it. I love anything like that. That's like, you know, they're playing. What do you call it? They're playing opposite balls.
So they're playing alternate shot.
Alternate
I
shot.
find that- have you guys played alternate shot before?
It's rock hard.
It's a really hard game.
Yeah, it's rock hard.
Oh.
Because you're always pissed off with your partner, and you have
exactly.
to
Yeah,
take it easy.
you hit a good drive and then they hit it into the river. You know,
you're
I
like,
find that okay,
yeah.
and you're not allowed to say sorry. And,
I could actually tell that
I would never do that.
Shane was completely. You know, the funny thing was that Shane was he was totally like afraid of Rory. Rory's just like hitting all the shots like flush, and
Sure.
Shane's just doing crap ones, and he's just like, "Oh God, I'm sorry, Rory."
It was good to see them as well afterwards enjoy the win. I quite like
Karaoke.
that. Yeah, karaoke and doing all sorts of things out, having beers, and you don't sort of see that side of Rory so much, but you do. Lowry, when he won the Open, he got out in the pub and was doing that sort of thing.
Different
so
type of
it's nice to
music,
see.
but yeah.
Yeah, so
Maybe because Rory and Shane did that event, you'll see next year
maybe
more guys will come
maybe
into,
maybe
especially,
they will.
and maybe it'll become a kind of a country thing where, you know, you'll get 2 Aussies or 2 Americans or whatever teaming up, and it'll be a bit more like that.
Yeah, it was interesting. No Japanese players played in the event either. Not one. I looked down the list and there wasn't any of them. Right. You know, it was only sort of Hideki's part of the PGA Tour anyway, but I would have thought he might have played with somebody else. But
Does he have any mates on the PGA
I
Tour?
probably
Do we know?
not. Mr. No, yeah.
I think his mate is Scotty Cameron, isn't it? That's like that. He has a personal relationship with Scotty, I heard.
Oh, does he? Yeah,
Even though he's a Strixon guy through and through.
Yeah, he's been using
not on
that
the putter.
Scotty. Yeah.
He's a big Scotty Cameron.
Yeah, he's been using that club, that same putter forever, that same design.
I think there was a post online of his Scotty Cameron collection. So Scotty sends him a couple of putters all the time.
Oh, does he?
Just keep sending them over.
Yeah.
And he's got like rooms full of Scotty Camerons.
Does he?
Yeah.
He never changes. I mean, Hideki is as a world-class player. He's probably one of the poorer putters. He's still a good putter, but he's still got that, you know, when he sets up to the toe up in the air. He's never changed.
He mellowed that out a bit, though, didn't he?
It's a little bit better than what it used to be. It used to be like Asao Aoki. Do you remember Aoki putting? I mean, it used to rest right in the heel. The club is at like 45-degree angle.
But they used to. But you remember how like it's like watching pictures of Jack Nicklaus or videos of Jack Nicklaus when he won the Masters when he was like 50.
Yeah.
And they crouch so much, like Seve and everything. When they were putting, they were almost,
He was almost doubled over.
their back is almost parallel.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, how the hell do you put like that? So of course the putter head's going to come up. They were close to the ball. That was the trend.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, Jack used to talk about he used his arms like pistons when he was putting. Yeah. A little bit odd, but sorry. Segue into that was a nice segue into the LPGA. Did you follow that?
No.
Damon, Hannah Green, Aussie girl won at 12 under, which was terrific to see. She's won a couple of times this year. She's a good player. She probably only won because Nelly Corder didn't play.
She took a week off.
Yeah, she took a week. Yeah, took a week off. There was
already broke the record. Doesn't need to keep going.
Yeah. The Japanese players played reasonably well. No one finished near the top. Saigo, Haraoka, Furue, and Shibuno all made the cut. Inami and Yoshida missed. The girls played here. They played the Panasonic Open at Hamano Golf Club in Chiba.
Yep,
Not sure.
seen
Do you know that?
Yep. That's actually quite a big tournament. You see, there was a big crowd for that. I followed them on Instagram. And
Hamamoto won at 19 under. The girls are only playing 3 rounds on the ladies tour here as well, but 19 under over 3 rounds is really, really good golf. And it was nice to see Yui Kawamoto play well. She finished tied 5th. She's a little bit of a favourite of mine. She's the sister of Ricky Kawamoto, who's a really, really good young player on the men's tour.
She's the one that wears the ribbons in her hair and
Correct.
sings karaoke.
Callaway, yep.
She's got like
Callaway
a singing
girl.
career, right?
She might do. She's a pretty thing.
Yeah, I think she has a YouTube channel, and
I would imagine,
and
she's
has millions of subscribers.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah.
So she's a really good player. So her mum and dad, well, their mum and dad must have done something pretty special when they were young, because I think she's 25 and he's 24. Yeah. She's one of the better players on tour, and he is an emerging player, one of the best players on the Japan tour. So
she had lost her card though for
she did.
fell
I
off
think
the planet
she did
during COVID. I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. So now she's back. So that's why it was nice to see her up having a really good finish.
It looks like a beautiful course, doesn't it?
What's it? Is that the one you just? Oh yeah, I mean over in Chiba. Yeah, I mean Chiba. For anyone that wants to know,
can you play that one?
Yeah, I was just looking it up now.
It did look mint.
Did it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's all with caddy.
Okay.
Can't book it on weekends. Weekdays you can for about 24,000 yen.
There you go. You can go and play a Japan LPGA golf course, which is not that far from Tokyo, over in Chiba. Which is, I thought we'd stay in Japan just at the moment. At the moment, the men's tour are playing the Crowns.
Oh, that's their big one
at Nagoya Golf Club, which has been a really, really good event for a long, long time. That's as we've talked about before. I've watched for the last decade if I'm watching on a Saturday or Sunday and they get on the first hole, and you just watch every player tee off their first hole. So I know that first hole really well. It's a downhill par 4 left, and it's drivable for the really, really long hitters. But I know the golf course quite well. They show a little bit towards the end as well, the last couple of holes. But
there's a par 3 downhill over water.
Yeah, that's
real tricky to hold the green.
Correct. So they're all there at the moment. And for those who don't know, I knew the Crowns even as a kid. I knew the Crowns because all the best players used to come over and play. Jumbo won it 5 times. I'm just going through the list of winners. Justin Rose has won it. Davis Love won it back in the day. Peter Senior was a great Aussie player. Seve won it. Norman won it. Scott Simpson, who won a US Open, won it. So they used to all come down and play in the Crowns.
Interesting fact about when Seve won it, right? He took I think he was already in his mid-40s. He was probably in the later stages of his career.
Sure.
They took the clubs that he used and they melted them down, and they made a Swiss brand made a limited run of watches.
Really?
Yeah. And they're really cool watches. I think there's only like 1,000. They come with a certificate and everything. That the casing and the backing and everything was from his clubs.
Wow, what a cool thing that is. I've never heard of that before.
I know. One came up on eBay before, and I was very close to just because I idolized Seve.
Yeah. What was it going for?
At the time, it was going for 10 grand US.
Yeah. So that's at Nagoya Golf Club. I think that's where it's always been, and so it's on JG2. I've got an English tab on their website, so follow it. It's all Japanese players. I mean, I think the last 20 years it's been all Japanese players have won it because the best players, they can't afford to bring them over anymore, but it used to be a big event back in the day, and it's still got great history. Really, if you check it out on Wikipedia, I was having a look at it, great winners.
Yeah, Phoenix and everything as well. If you ever go into the clubhouse in Phoenix, it's all
that's cool. That's
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and it's Tiger and it's Duval and
everybody.
Right.
Padraig Harrington.
Yeah. Poulter won it one year.
Yeah. Brooks Koepka, I think.
Yep, he did. I think he's won it a couple of times.
It's the who's who of golf, really. And they have a big picture on next to the staircase. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I'm not mad into the golf course now myself, but there's a lovely hotel next door to it.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one.
Incredible.
I think we should probably talk about LIV.
What a week.
No, let's skip it.
No way. Ripper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch the whole thing.
Now, here's a question
Almost the whole
for
thing.
you guys. Who won the tournament?
Who cares?
Ripper. Oh no, I know who
was
won it.
Who was the
Steele.
individual?
Brendan Steele. Yeah,
Brendan Steele won it.
Yeah.
His first victory.
Win. Yeah, won it by one over Louis. But of course, the most compelling part of the week was the Aussies and the playoff.
No, the best was what's your man's name? Kevin Na losing his. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
No.
So he hits it into the hits it left off the tee into the trees, into the spectators. He goes over, and it's basically like a beach. It's sand, thick sand, and it's in a footprint, and he's got a tree in front of him, and he's like, "What is this bullshit?" And he's losing it, right? And then he quickly takes it, and he just chops it about 10 yards to the left, further in trouble, and then he starts going. He starts effing and blinding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does. Then he goes over and chips it again, flubs it again, and then there's all guys drunk behind him and all going, "Oh, mate!" And he's cursing. He's like, "What is this bullshit?" And he takes about 5 to get out, and then he and he's throwing his clubs around. He's cursing.
I never saw that.
Gotta watch it.
Do you remember him doing that in Texas one year? You can actually get on YouTube. He had, I can't remember, it was about 15 or 16 shots. So it was in Texas. He's blocked it off the tee.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And he kept hitting it in worse spots.
And if you listen closely, right, because it's like someone with their phone, that's the coverage.
Right. The
and
Aussies in the background.
You can hear them all talking and saying, "Oh, mate, don't lose your shit, mate." It's crazy. It's brilliant.
So I think you talked a little bit about it in the last podcast. It's down at the Grange, which Damon, you talked about. Mm-hmm. That's a great area for wine.
Mm-hmm.
And the golf course came up. It looked a real treat. You know, it's one of those typical Aussie golf courses where the putting greens run into the bunkers. So the bunkers have got these really sharp edges and some interesting putting greens, especially on the last. And the Aussies got up. They beat the South Africans in the playoff. The Aussies on the first
8-man playoff.
Hole. Yeah. It was all a bit strange, but it was a great win for the Aussies, and it's good for Aussie golf.
Well, hang on. First of all, I think that the reason why it was such a good tournament is because of all the crowd.
Yeah. Right.
So you can see when the guy hold the putt, they were all hugging him and they were circled in and that kind of thing. I mean, you know, it could have been anything, right? But because the crowd were that into it and that invested in it, that it made it look really good. But I didn't like in the playoff. Every time the other, the South African team.
They were getting a hard time, weren't they?
In the backswing.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with that.
And then it was like you could hear a pin drop when Cam Smith is hitting the ball, Yeah. So I was like, well, I mean, the Ryder Cup is the same, right? But you would never hear anybody screaming the backswing like that. True. Never.
Yeah. I kind of feel like there was a couple of maybe
Drongos,
like the balls going into the crowd and miraculously coming out as well.
Oh yeah, the old leather wedge back onto the fairway.
Like in the old days.
Yeah. And a couple of ball swings trodden on as well. Maybe.
Yeah.
On purpose.
And did you see I think it was the par 3 hole, the one they're trying to cover the waste management. It was Lucas Herbert's caddy got hit in the head by a water bottle. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, it was terrible. You're talking a full, so he's putting the flag back in the hole and a full bottle of water comes flying out of the crowd and hits him square in the head. And he goes down. He goes down onto one knee. Hit him hard because I was throwing water bottles. I think empty ones and some turkey, some bogan.
For a good shot, or
great.
obviously
trying to hurt somebody. You don't throw a full bottle of water anyway. It's probably right in the head.
You should only give them beer. There's no way to throw in that.
Exactly. You're going to drink that. What do I want this bottle of water for? Anyway,
what was up with they're calling it a shoey. You fill you take your shoe off. You fill it up with beer and you drink it and you throw the shoe away.
Yeah.
You go home with one.
Yeah, it's become a bit of an Aussie thing to do. There's a couple of the guys in MMA are doing it, but they'd finish a fight and then they're grabbing a shoe from somebody in the crowd, somebody's dirty shoe, and drinking beer out of that.
Cam Smith did it.
Did it? Was it a brand new shoe?
No. He took his shoe off at the podium and filled it. They all did.
I think he did it. I seen a picture on Facebook, and he did it on Thursday before the tournament started. They were out on Thursday night, and then he won the thing.
Well, he's got the right haircut for it.
It's a bit of a thing, Mark Webber, F1 driver, used to do it. And Danny Ricciardo.
Did they? Okay, so it's gone back further than the MMA guys. Yeah, okay,
100%.
Oh wow, Shoey.
I don't know about the Shoey.
Gross.
I got to get this out of the way, guys. So Kazuma, the young Japanese player, shot 9 under in the first round.
Wow.
Which was really good to see because he's been struggling a little bit. AK finished last, but had a couple of good rounds. First and second round played quite well. I think it was even par 1 under, and then shot a few over the last round. But finished last, but not too far away. I mean, I think he finished +6, which might have been 20 odd shots from the lead, but he's still at it.
Could this work against the poor guy?
look, I don't think he really cares.
They're kind of really giving him the confidence. It's like you come back to golf and everything, and then he just sits down the bottom and gets a little bit,
No, I think he's getting better. I don't think he cares as well.
I don't think, he's got money. He's already got the money in his pocket.
He doesn't give a rat's arse.
He just time.
Yeah, it's not all about money though.
Yeah, but I think he'll get better. I was actually.
I hope
he's
he
a
does.
great golf
I
swing.
do too. Yeah, look, he still swings it really well. And
I just hate to see it all just go the other way for him.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't go away. Like at the end of the season, they sort of drop him, and then he's back into the wilderness, and God knows
in the wilderness.
Yeah. Change the subject, but did you see that Lucas Herbert was playing really well, and he won the same weekend last year in Japan at the DP World Tour event. So he won the same weekend, but obviously different tours. But there you go.
Yeah, he did too. Yeah. One thing that's going to be interesting. So Liv's now almost 3 years old. So a lot of those initial players, especially the European players, so there's Poulter, Stenson, Westwood, Garcia, are all on 3-year contracts.
End of contracts.
So it'll be end of their contract at the end of the year. So there's talk that they may go back to the PGA Tour if they're allowed, which will free up a whole bunch of cash. The Saudis. So I reckon they're going to start to go after some players again.
Oberg.
Everybody's got a number, as we've talked about.
Oberg, he's on form there. He's going to have a great year now.
Yeah.
Is it Hovland?
Hovland's going.
Ooh. Is he going?
Well, they said he's
no way.
He's on the way.
He's just about signed up. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you get Oberg, Hovland, then you got like pretty much the whole European squad over there.
Yeah. But then, those guys, because Poulter and Stenson and Westwood, I mean, they're just bringing up the rear of the field. They're taking the piss a little bit, I think.
They do, yeah, for sure. They have a
look good on
here
them.
and there.
Yeah. So I think they'll probably go back to the DP World Tour or PGA Tour, and then they'll bring in some new players. So it'll be interesting to see who they're going to go after.
Wow.
I think there's a possibility to lose Brooks as well.
Yeah, he may go. I think he was pretty...
But he's a captain of a team. He has equity.
Okay.
So, I suppose he could not play and still captain a team, right? Isn't that how it works?
I doubt that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he was in Oman sometime last year, and there's 3 people watching him, and he's shooting 76, and he's thinking, what am I doing here? He should be playing the PGA Tour.
Bubba as well, right?
So Bubba's another one. Good point. Yeah, he's another guy that's sort of bringing up the rear of the field.
Again, he's another principal or captain or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I don't see Bubba leaving.
No, I don't either.
Because I remember
he loves it. He's in his element there.
Yeah.
I remember listening to an interview here when he was explaining how it works for them. So there's an ambulance, even though there's no cars in the street.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
Need the,
no one's
do you really
around.
need the siren, mate?
Public holiday.
Okay, but there was an interview with Bubba, and he was saying that the captains have equity, so even if they don't play, they can still captain the team, and they will manage the franchise for that. Apparently,
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And that's pretty much it from tour golf. So I'm going to be watching the Crowns the next few days.
I'll be watching LIV.
LIV in Sentosa.
That's right. Yeah. Sentosa this weekend in
is
Singapore.
It? Yep. Wow, that's a jet setting all over the place.
And it's our time. Today. It's probably on right now.
Yeah, right now.
I did. I mean, I have to say that was the best. That was the best LIV tournament they've ever had.
That was Adelaide. So exciting.
That was so. And I mean, if they could do that every time, they did have a good run in Hong Kong when they were there, right? That looked good.
Yeah.
So if they can get a good crowd out in Sentosa and get the same vibe going, and they might get a bit of momentum now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Some players will be looking at that going, look at that. That looks like good fun, and you're with all your mates, and
winning a boatload of cash. As well.
I think it really also showed the difference between like the single playing and the team playing.
Yeah,
a little bit more like Ryder Cup in that sense. But even if you're having a bit of a bowed round on your single, every point still counts to the team, and I think that really showed last weekend. Every point was so needed for the teams.
Yeah. Why don't they do tournaments where it's only the cash up for grabs is only for the team event? So there's no single play, because it's complicated. It's like the top part of the scoreboard is the group one, and then the bottom one is the single play. Do one that's only single. Do one that's only team.
Well, only single. We've already got that, don't we? In the PGA or whatever. Yeah, in most of the tour events there.
But they do push the team event. I mean, when you check out LIV online, the thing that comes up as the leaderboard always comes up as the teams. It's not. You have to press another button to get on the individual. So they're really pushing the team.
I mean, you just mentioned Kevin Na losing it and like dropping like 5-6 strokes. I guarantee you, he gave up. And if his team was at the top, going for the champion, like for that group win. No way he would have acted like that.
No, that's true.
So I think it's quite different how the mental aspect of it and everything and the team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good point.
Ridiculous outfit that he had on. It's like the striped. Did you see it? It's like some random cricket.
Oh, really?
Rugby. It's like just random stripes, perpendicular stripes, like
so that's one of the teams.
Yellow and red.
That's their team jersey, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the names and the jerseys and the colorings and things like that are pretty terrible.
I do like it when Ripper GC, okay, but it's all Australian, get it? And then Louis Oosthuizen's is all South African. That's cool. I like that it's a nationality. But then you have other stuff that's just random.
Yeah, it is too.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think
Well, all these guys are known for their golf, not their marketing skills, obviously.
Yeah.
Were they allowed to pick the name of the team and the logos and stuff?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Anyway.
Terrible. Anyway, that's it for Pro Golf. The Crowns. Watch it.
Okay.
JGTO.com.
Is there any golf happening this weekend? I'm still unpacking boxes, so I'm not doing much. Unless I can get it all done the next 2 days, and then I might take the boys, my kids, playing golf if I can. But there's American football happening this weekend, but Monday's a day off. How about you?
I've got 2 weeks up at Gatemba now. For the Asian,
2 weeks?
Yeah, the Asian, the AAC, the Asian Amateur Championships have got an academy up in Gatemba for 2 weeks. So they bring in, first week is 16 kids they bring from all over the world, and the second week they do the same thing. They've got a couple of Aussie coaches. They've got a sports psych, strength and conditioning guys coming over. So they look after these kids. These are kids from not particularly wealthy countries who haven't had great coaching before, so they bring them over. These kids have all got really good promise. Like, they're really, really good players, but haven't been coached before, and they go up there. So on Sunday, Titleist will come along and they will fit all 16 kids.
That's amazing.
So they will, and this is all backed by the RNA and Augusta National. So it's an amazing thing they do for these kids, underprivileged kids, who all play in the tournament at the end of the year, but don't have the right golf clubs and maybe don't have the right pairs of shoes and clothing and umbrellas and balls and things like that. So they outfit them. So Titleist will do that on Sunday and the following Sunday, and then they get taught for a week and get presented the clubs at the end of the week and whatever else they're given. And it's an amazing thing. So I'm up there for 2 weeks, sort of supporting that event. So
good on you, mate. Sounds like a great event.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, we've got kids coming from Pakistan. I shouldn't say kids; some of them are a little bit older, but Pakistan, Cambodia. You know, there's some countries like that the guys are coming over, and they're staying in our West Hotel, and we feed them and teach them and get them out there on the golf course, give them some experience on the golf course that they will play at the end of the year as well. And they're coached by Scott Barr and Andrew Welsford, who are 2 really, really highly regarded golf pros, golf teachers from Australia.
From Aussie, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So I'll be up there to check that out for the next couple of weeks. So, but to answer your question, that's a very long-winded way of saying no golf for me.
Yeah.
You're not going to sneak out and do 9 holes?
I'll probably walk the kids around because I played the golf course a lot, so show them where to hit it and where not to hit it.
You'll be able to do that with a brace around your neck? Or?
God, I don't want to rethink about that. Hurts my head thinking about it. The Tesla S.
I'm going to Photoshop a collar around your neck. and the wife beater.
That's right. And my welcome mat. You want to clean your shoes on my welcome mat.
Joe's having a day off today since it is a public holiday, and he's wearing a wife beater.
I've got a shirt over the top of it. It's not just a wife beater. Kieran, any golf for you coming up?
No, not for me. Only unpacking boxes.
No, okay, Damon?
No, not this weekend.
Yeah, okay.
It's spend some time with the missus and sit outside and enjoy the weather.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking weekend. All right, boys. Well, I think that was a very entertaining. I'm going to have a job editing all of the laughing out of this one.
Or you could just leave it in.
Oh, God, I wouldn't do that to the good people.
Yeah.
All right, lads. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Sayonara. See you
all right,
next time.
thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
You too.